Hey, there you are. Welcome back. Episode 41. Today we head back down to Asheville, North Carolina, where my guest is Jayne Henderson, the daughter of legendary Mid-Atlantic luthier and player Wayne Henderson. Jayne is a master luthier in her own right with a wait list of over 5 years for her builds. Had a really lovely conversation with Jayne. It was really great to hear her story. Please like, please subscribe, please enjoy. Let's get into it. Well, good morning, Jayne. Thank you so much for joining the club. How are you?
I'm doing well, pretty well, a little sniffly, but I'm doing well, and thank you so much for having me. I'm honored
Yeah, well, I'm excited to
join you.
talk to you. I like I was saying earlier, I opened up Instagram the other day, and like the way the algorithm work, you just popped up on my page with when you delivered that guitar to Ben Harper, and I was like, oh, I got to follow this person and see if she wants to chat. So I appreciate you responding and jumping on here with me. I'm anxious to hear more about you. So you built that guitar for Ben Harper, but I want to back up and talk about yourself. I want to learn more about you, where you're from, and how long you've been building guitars and how you got into it.
Okay. Um, I guess it's sort of a weird story because I had no intention to ever build a guitar. Growing up, never, ever. I'm not a musician. I would say I'm an artist. I come at it from an artist point of view and have always wanted to use my hands, but I did it. I wanted to be a surgeon. Always did, ever since my mom took me to the brain lab at UNC where she was in school, and I was like obsessed with brains after that. Not weird. No, probably pretty weird. Anyway, I got really into that and did all through college, had planned to do surgery. But then it turns out that it takes a really specific type of person and personality to be a surgeon, and in my case, so what happened was I looked at the MCAT and opened it and was like, oh my God, there's so much math on this. And I shut the book and I like backed away. I was like, but but I was like, well, I have to, okay, if I can't be a surgeon, then what could I do? I have to, further my interests after getting a bachelor's degree. I'm not going to stop school because I've always loved education. So anyway, I pivoted because I'm like, well, I'm really into rock climbing and being out in the woods and being with, so what if I do environmental law instead? These games on the LSAT, that's fun. I'll just, I'll do that. It's way easier than the MCAT looked like. And so I did that. I went into environmental law, and and then it turns out that when you work on the side of the environment, that the good side, you don't make any money. And I had a bunch of law schools or law loans like to pay back from my law school, and was like, now what do I do? Like I've done a bunch of things like AmeriCorps and stuff to like offset those, but now I'm like, now what do I do? And it turns out my dad is a really well-known guitar builder. His name's Wayne Henderson. He's had a book written about him about when he built a guitar for Eric Clapton, and he has many a famous friend, which to him, I mean, he doesn't even care. I love it how little he knows about
Yeah.
anybody. But if you like music, especially if you're a kid, he will make you an instrument, a guitar. I just sort of would orbit that whole situation, his shop and the people that would flock to him, but I never had any interest in joining it. But I was like, those guitars sell for like a lot. I wonder if he'll make me one and I can pay off these school loans and keep working for this environmental nonprofit that pays me nothing. And my dad, I asked him and he was like, well, I'll, I'll give you all my materials. I'll show you how to do it, but you have to come in here and be in the shop and do it. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. Sounds terrible. I don't want that. But a means to an end. Fine, I'll do it. And then I got in there and I started to understand him. I've never really had much of a relationship with my dad because of all those people that were always around him and surrounding his life and his aura and all that. And I was like, wait, he's pretty cool. Okay. And then it's like, oh, and now I understand. Like I would come into the shop and see the little like different steps of the instrument, but I never understood the whole arc of it until I started doing this and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Now I get it. Now I understand why he can't not do this. And I kind of can't not do this now. And I would get so excited to dream about like what I could create the next day. It's like, look at this tangible thing that I have done today with my
Yeah.
hands. Yes, a little bit of it's missing because I sanded some finger off, but it's okay because look what I did. And so I just had such an incredible time with him, and mostly I was drawn by the art and the relationship that I got to have. Um, and then I sold that guitar for $25,000, and I was like, well, could I do it again?
$25,000.
Yep,
Wow.
my first guitar, but it had my dad's name on it.
Yeah.
But then I started tricking my environmental nonprofit to let me off work to go up. I was like, hey, if you let me off work for a couple weeks, I'll go and make a guitar and I'll donate all the money to you, And I did. That was the first one with my name on it. That was all local materials. It was wood that was from nearby, wood that mattered, and it all supported the one of the programs in this nonprofit it works on.
That is an amazing story, Jane. It's an amazing story and it's a beautiful story too. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I'm a woodworker myself, and I consider building guitars kind of the brain surgery of woodworking. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, at one time a surgeon did tell me, I was saying like how much I wished I could do that, and he was like, "You know what? I think we all find what we're supposed to do. We manage to do that,
Yeah.
and you're using your hands, you're doing very technical work, but you don't have to do the surgeon or be a lawyer either. Both of those things require such confidence that I do not have. So, I do love that I have found something that has married all of the things that I really love to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how long now has it been that you've been building full time?
A while, like, let's see, 2011, 15, oh my God, 15 years.
That's great. That's so great.
Yeah,
Congrats.
I opened, like, in 2011, I officially, like, got my tax ID and
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
and started, like, EJ Henderson guitars.
Your dad must be so proud. And is he how does he feel? Like, he must be proud, obviously, but also is he surprised to see how this has worked out for you?
Probably, I'm sure he is. I think he's obvious. So I think one thing about him is he's so unassuming and quiet, and I wouldn't really know what he's thinking most of the time. Every now and again, like I'll hear him say something in an interview. I'm like, oh, that's nice, thanks, Daddy. But like he doesn't really say it to me specifically, though. That first guitar, he did like summon the courage, and he came out and he's like, I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you that you're doing this. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
me? You're proud of me for something? Like, usually I just ruin your life by wanting to go climb up rocks and you don't like that. Or, all the things that I enjoy that are not what you enjoy. But yeah, so we got to meet on this common ground and have a love for it. It comes in different, sort of from different reasons, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think so. And I think because he's so good at what he does, it just feels like such a disservice for that to end with him. And I'm really honored and thrilled that I get to keep moving what he has started forward and what he like. I mean, there was no YouTube back 60 years ago when he started building. He had nothing. He
Yeah.
just had a pocket knife and was surrounded by woods because lived in the middle of nowhere and was like,
Yeah.
well, I bet I've got this knife. I bet in guitars, just wood, I bet I could figure it out. And he did.
So cool. That is an amazing story. Yeah, that's awesome. Tell me about the guitars you're building. What kind of stuff do you like to build?
Well, so my dad taught me to build like pre-war Martin-esque in that style. But I like to put my own personality and soul into those instruments. But I like smaller body because I'm this big. I'm not, I don't like to make dreadnoughts if I can help it. Though Ben Harper asked, and I'm like, well, okay, you're nice. But typically, if people will seek me out for a parlor or like a smaller OM, triple O, Nick Lucas, something like that, just a smaller, more compact instrument that's easier on your shoulder.
Yep.
So that's what I like. And I like to use local materials when I can, as much as I can, or at least thoughtfully harvested. I know where it comes from. I know,
Hmm.
what where it's been. I know its story. And I
Hmm.
love that the materials have a story before they even get to me to become an instrument to make more stories.
I saw on your page, I think a back and side set or a top set of sycamore, and I just love sycamore. That wood is so beautiful.
It is. It's
How
so
did that come out? Yeah.
you know what? I haven't used it yet.
Okay.
People voted, and I did the Sinker mahogany instead. But that
Oh,
was
okay.
really fun. So I make one like spec instrument a year, and I brought it to the artisan guitar show because I go to one guitar show a year, and I brought it. And it was I asked Instagram, I was like, hey, let me know like which one should we do, Sinker, should we do, help me make this. That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
really fun to do.
yeah.
But more folks wanted, it seemed like there was a little bit, it actually was pretty evenly split, but a couple more wanted the Sinker, and I was like, well, that might be more up the alley of the artisan.
Well, that sinker piece was pretty sweet too.
It had it's a beautiful deeper sound than I'm used to with that.
Yeah.
It was a Sinker redwood top as well, which
Okay.
isn't my typical, like I usually use red spruce, but
Cool.
yeah.
Do you sell your guitars to order, or are you selling to shops, or how do you sell?
So the way I have had several people ask if they, could be my dealer or whatever, but I don't enjoy that because I love working directly with a client to get to know them, and usually I make a friend,
Hmm.
with each one of these that I build, and I love being able to connect with somebody specific and make something really personal.
Yeah.
So I I have a wait list and stuff, but that's how I like to work. It's important to me that I'm not just going to my wood shelf and pulling off a set of wood, and just it's really important that there's something behind that thought process, and I'm thinking of that human that I'm going to be building it for.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see how that would be a better way to build than just kind of building on a production cycle and just building. Like I can see, like that's an interesting point, building it with a person in mind as opposed
Hmm.
to just building it to have another stack of guitars that you've made. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I could see it either way. Like it can be, people will connect with what they connect with.
Hmm.
So I can see, like I have friends who just build a batch and say, here they are. If you want one, if it connects with you, here. And that kind of takes the pressure off of both parties. But the pressure is important to me. I love it. That's sort of what I think, because I don't come at it from a musician maybe or something like that. It's the connection with the person really that I gravitate towards
Yeah.
more.
That's so cool. What's been the most unique or sort of out of the box request from a customer on a build that's taken you by surprise? Has there been anything that's like made you think a little bit or maybe challenged you in ways that you hadn't before?
That's a good question. There are some that are a challenge in just the way that I have to deal with a certain person, where it's like, okay, I'm pretty green. I just started this, and you're shouting directions at me. Where it's like, I don't like that. Like when I have a client
No.
who's like, I built this. It's like, no, you didn't. I did this. Like, or it's a
Uh,
collaboration. The thing that I'm building is a collaboration between me and a client, not you telling me exactly what to do or me making exactly what I want. It's a partnership. And
mhm.
so that has always been a bit of a challenge when I have to, but now I have enough experience and clients that it's like, look, this is not, I'm not the person you want doing this. If that's where you're going. So I'm trying to think of like, I've got a lot of like inlay challenges where someone's asked me to inlay, their dog or their goat named Dee Dee, or, something like that, which I love to do. Um, I right now I'm about actually, this one will be a challenge. The next build that I'm about to work on, uh, my client wanted he had a dory boat built, and that takes a certain type of cedar. And he's like, could you do the top? Could you make a guitar out of the cedar? And I'm like, maybe, but I ordered some, and I'm like, well, I will if I hear it and I can, feel it and know that it will make you a good guitar, sure.
Yeah.
And I just have that. I got those sets of wood yesterday and was tapping, and it's like, okay, I think it could make a guitar. I'm gonna have to thin it a little bit more than I typically would, but as long as you just listen to each set, you could make an instrument from it.
Yeah.
So that,
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like an artist, when an artist is commissioned for a piece of work, it's often more challenging because the person commissioning it has something very specific in mind, and you have to really get in the mind of that person. Yeah, I can see how that's very challenging. Um,
yes. But
because
it's something that I love to be
yeah,
challenged in.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love
that's so
I
cool.
love to meet someone. Tell me about your family. Tell me some stories about you. I love to know. And then, and oftentimes though they'll say, "Oh, I had something in mind, but what you did is like so much better than what I thought, what I was expecting." I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
win,
that's awesome.
But
Yeah, totally. Well, it's so cool. Again, when I found you, I think it was Ben Harper playing this guitar that you had built. Can you tell me how that came to be and about that whole story?
yeah, so my friend Jason Verlinde, he's the owner at Fretboard Journal, the
Yeah.
main editor and stuff. He's a good friend, and I went to the Fretboard Summit. They have, every year
Hmm.
in August in Chicago, they have a summit where a bunch of guitar nerds come together and
Yeah.
do guitar nerd things. And I go sometimes, and this one year Ben Harper was there. I was there to present. I did a talk about women in Lutherie.
Hmm.
So it was kind of fun, but yeah. So Ben Harper, my friend Jason had, but he was there that weekend, and then I think he played. He must have played one of the shows because he'll have little concerts, and I think Ben just came and did a really, uh, quiet
Yeah.
acoustic, concert. But yeah. So I met him there, and my dad, he played one of my dad's guitars there. And yeah, a friend had brought one and was like, no, Ben, I want you, try this. And Ben really liked it. And he initially wanted my dad to build him a guitar. Um, but then he, my dad doesn't have internet or a phone, or I mean, he does. We FaceTime, but like, he can't work that thing. I'm the
Yeah.
only one he calls. So like he uses it to like, if there's it's more for me and for me to make sure I'm like, okay, he
Yeah.
got to where he's going. But so I would FaceTime Ben. We would talk to my dad, like we'd be like, okay, and FaceTime with him. And I got to know him just doing that and texting and stuff. And then he
Mm.
called and he was like, I was looking at your stuff, and he lives in Europe, and like primarily now,
Hmm.
and he said that he didn't really want to take a Brazilian guitar back. He's like, I don't really want to deal with trying to get that back and forth. And I know that you make local, like you make wood that, or make guitars out of wood that's not that
Hmm.
aren't like CITES flagged, and
Hmm.
he was like, would you be willing to do it for me? And I was like, me? Okay. And also my dad's list is like, who knows how long.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know how long. So mine is pretty long, but nothing like that. And so yeah, that's what happened. And then we just ended up kind of like hitting it off and chatting. And he would, we'd just talk every now and again. And then I was coming back when he asked me if I would build it, I was like just coming back from Hearn Hardwoods, which is an
Mm.
amazing wood supply place. If you don't know about it,
Hmm.
everyone, yeah, oh my gosh, it's nuts. But my my friend Rick, Rick Hearn and Brian Hearn, they and it's another nice like father son like family
Yeah.
situation, I think, where we understand each other from that. But they sent me a piece of oak that came from the meeting. It was the oldest tree in Pennsylvania, a champion oak tree that just kind of fell one day, but it tree stood when his Quaker meeting house, like the guy who built it, he built it like by that tree, and I think it was they carbon dated it to like 16 something,
Yeah.
1670,
Wow.
I don't know, but it was like a 400-year-old tree, and I think it's felt like magic. And Ben, what he texted, he was like, okay, I think that does feel like magic to me. I don't say it often, but that feels good. And I'm like, okay, then if, I like when things happen naturally as they should, you know, and in a comfortable manner where I'm not
Hmm.
forcing something. I don't like to, that's another reason I like to have people come to me. I don't like to like used car salesman my instruments,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
my soul, it's like, here, do you want it? But yeah, so that's really what happened. And then last weekend, I finally delivered it. He was doing a show in LA, and I've owed a friend a visit for years, and I'm like, well, okay. And I booked it, I like Thursday and went out Saturday. So
Cool. And
excited.
did you fly with the guitar? Is that's
Yeah,
stressful?
yeah. I flew with the guitar. That's well, it has a Hoffy case, so I
Okay.
wasn't too worried. And then usually, I'm not sure if it's because I'm little and cute, but like I can usually sweet talk them to let me get it. Like I've never had an issue. I don't. Everyone is like,
Nice.
it's terrible. I'm like, I don't know. As long as you're nice, ask please, say thank
Yeah.
you like 15 times. I did offer to bribe this the flight attendant. He's like, okay. I was like, do you take Venmo? Like, I don't have any cash on me, but he was like, I'm kidding. But they put it. He was like, how bad do you want this guitar in the first class closet? I'm like, I want it bad.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Like anything else, just be nice and
Hmm.
respectful. And usually, yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I mean, worst case, I would have gate checked it, and
Yeah.
I always have a backup, but
Yeah.
and that's never been an issue either.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's an amazing story, and yeah, your whole story is amazing. It's been really interesting to hear about your journey, and it's so wonderful that you've got a waiting list. That's an amazing way to work. So, congratulations for the
Yeah.
success of your business.
Well, thank you. Thanks for being interested, and thanks, I guess, to Instagram for
Yeah.
popping me up on your feed there because I
Yeah.
don't know how that works either.
I don't know. I've got this guitar page, and it's funny. Like everything, it's just like guitar stuff just pops up on it, and
Hmm.
it's like some stuff grabs my attention, like yours. So,
Awesome.
yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. Nice to meet you. Thanks
Yeah.
again for your
You too.
time, and I appreciate you telling your story.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jane. Bye.
Bye.